So as we all kind of expected, the inevitable mistakes have been made by our fledgling cabinet, and now the dreaded R word has arisen. Reshuffle. Straight away, no need to analyse so deep, folks have a fairly good idea of which ministry has performed well and which haven't. Let's start with the good, and I'm aware there's a subjective element here. Now, Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad has been, in my opinion, one of the standout performers. His stance on smoking in restaurants and food outlets was difficult, but he has stood firm and decisive in the maelstrom that has ensued. And he has managed to win some Malaysians over with his Deepavali greetings in Tamil.
வணக்கம், நான் டாக்டர் Zulkifli Ahmad, உங்கள் சுகாதார அமைச்சர். இந்த தீபாவளியில் உங்களோட உணவை கொஞ்சம் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ணுங்க. இனிப்பு ரொம்ப வேண்டாம். மலேசியாவில் இருக்கும் அனைத்து இந்தியர்களுக்கு என்னுடைய இனிய தீபாவளி நல்வாழ்த்துக்கள்.
Even while sending a somber message about the 21st century evil, sugar. Best of all, though, is his plan for an electronic medical record system that will be implemented at 145 hospitals nationwide within the next 3 years. And that's a much-needed upgrade on the existing financial system. I also think Gobind Singh, the Minister of Communications and Multimedia, is worthy of mention. Like Dr. Zul, Gobind has shown strength and resilience and a massive portfolio, which also includes trying to revamp the national media such as Bernama and the National Film Corporation, FINAS. But he has taken the most flack for the change he is trying to instill in Telecom Malaysia in terms of giving Malaysians faster broadband at lower prices.
I completely understand that there are share prices involved and things like that. I understand all that. But at the end of the day, that does not mean that a minister or a government official cannot ask any questions. TM is a huge institution. There are many factors that affect the prices of its stock. And as I said earlier, improve. And I'm sure Malaysia will support you.
Who else? I think Yeo Bien has also been quite good as Energy, Science, Environmental and Climate Change Minister. The changes she has already pushed through in terms of terminating 4 badly lopsided IPP deals and revoking the licenses of non-performing feed-in tariff quota owners has been decisive and instrumental, while also correctly saying that Malaysia's path to a clean future must also include restructuring Tenaga Nasional. And for all his messaging faults and shooting from the hips, Lim Guan Eng has been, I think, a good national accountant. He has been honest with the country's debt position and done a fairly good job in identifying the areas where fat can be cut to steer the country back to fiscal health. But what about some non-performing ministries? Well, let's call a spade a spade. Education Minister, Dr. Masli Malik. He's had a torrid first 6 months in his job, not only for the conflicts inherent in becoming president of the International Islamic University of Malaysia, but it's also 2 vocal statements on granular issues like school shoes and swimming pools. Because all this comes at a time when Malaysians are looking to him for decisive policy decisions on issues like science, maths, English, and recognizing Chinese schools and universities via the Unified Examination Certificate, or the UEC. All of which, if we are to be honest with ourselves, has taken a little of the shine off his appointment.
Malang sekali bagi MPBN hanya penting kasut dan stokin. Itulah tahap MPBN. Mereka gagal untuk memahami
I also hear that the Primary Industries Minister, Teresa Kok, is under the cosh. Palm oil is the most important crop under her portfolio, and with prices well below 2,000 ringgit a metric ton, she is facing huge pressure to find offtakes and demand for a growing crop stockpile, even while fending off a relentless Western NGO lobby that continues to target palm oil. And clearly, National Unity Minister Weta Muti must also be facing the heat of trying to find an elegant balance in multicultural Malaysia when it comes to the country's stance on whether to ratify ICERD. Now, of course, ICERD is an international convention on eliminating racial discrimination, which, as critics say, contravenes Bumiputra rights. Who else? Well, corporate guys complain there has been little resolution where foreign workers and their permits are concerned, because Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has been suffering from poor health and therefore unable to attend to these and other issues. Overall, though, just like any batch of new students, there are some top performers, some middle-of-the-road performers, and some who need serious improvement. The issue, of course, has been complicated by the fact that cabinet appointments in Malaysia are not necessarily based on merit or fit for purpose, but instead on party allocations and weightage, and of course their contribution to winning the national elections, and not forgetting, of course, the parliamentary representation. Not only that though, the final arbiter of who stays and who goes remains the Prime Ministers, which is slightly worrying on the concentration of power basis, not to mention candidate risk given Tun Dr. Mahathir's age and health. But overall though, there's no denying that the results thus far have been mixed. So, should a reshuffle happen? And if so, when? In the corporate world, staff cuts and modifications to the business plan are often swift, decisive and sudden. But politics? Much tougher and much more complicated, with far more stakeholders and repercussions. And despite what he says in public, my sources tell me that Tun Mahathir does favour a reshuffle, and his deadline is apparently a year. So that's another 6 months to shape up or ship out. Overall though, what do people want from our ministers? Well, clear policy for one, a rational and balanced stand on national affairs for another, decisiveness in action, clarity in message, and of course I know this is easier said than done. So the next 6 months will be crucial for the ministers facing the cosh, and they know who they are. And there's not a lot of time. Plus, if the global situation deteriorates further, and look no further than the falling ringgit or the slowing economy, then that deadline shrinks even further. So, game on then. Just saying.